Thank you guys for coming. This is a panel that my hand was kind of forced in doing this panel, which I'm excited about because so many people that I know make a living selling anime products. Not just Valerie, but my friends Rosemary and Keith that are in the dealer's room, my friend Steve Lynn, who runs Anime Pavilion. Lots of people that I spend every weekend with and who I've gotten to know. I see them more than my family most weeks. I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Greg Ayres. I am actually a voice actor for ADV Films, Funimation Entertainment, a division of the Navarre Corporation, Amusement Park Media, Okratron 5000, a bunch of other studios. But I've spent pretty much the last 7 years that I've been in the industry working on educating people about the dangers of piracy and how downloading has affected our entire industry. And at first, I was accused of saber rattling and all kinds of other things. Well, a few years later, we have no Geneon, we have no ADV, we have no Anime Insider, we have no New Type. So all of the things, all of the sky is falling that all of us were talking about has come to pass. And I've done these panels for ages about the dangers of fan subbing and digital media or illegal digital media. And I've always been hang on, I'm going to turn this off because my phone has a real nice habit of going off during panels. Now, shut up. My detractors have always said, well, you don't ever talk about bootleg merchandise. So, even just as the same thing, I never ever thought I would be so involved in a piracy struggle or educating people about piracy of anime and intellectual property. I had to make it my business to get familiar with bootleg merchandise as well. And because we never were able to actually do it in full form, we tried to work it into the other panel, and there was just never enough time for it because there are as many different types of bootlegs, really, as there are different types of merchandise. We've got bootleg DVDs, which it's one of the only things I don't have an example of. Bootleg plush, bootleg figures, bootleg wall scrolls, bootleg merchandise, bootleg playing cards, bootleg soundtracks, you name it. If there's money to be made off of it, someone's trying to make an unauthorized copy and sell it to you. And I guess my biggest struggle trying to talk to young anime fans has been well, if it's cheaper, I don't care. Why should I care if it's cheaper? I can get it on eBay. I can get the entire Sailor Moon series for $12 on eBay. Why should I care? And so I've tried to kind of surmise that into this panel and give you all the reasons you should care. Has anybody ever purchased something that they thought was a legitimate item and found out later it was a bootleg? I have a great story when we get to bootleg soundtracks about this. Hang on, I'll take my jacket off. That's one of the things that has prevented a lot of the companies from cracking down on bootlegs at conventions. Technically, a lot of companies, Funimation, ADV, Geneon, Bandai, as well as the Japanese companies themselves, actually have legal recourse to sue and prosecute several conventions that knowingly allow people to sell bootlegs. One of the reasons most of them don't do that is because most people don't realize they're buying bootlegs. So I'm going to try to break this down into as many different categories as I can get to. I'm going to talk about the easiest ones to spot right off the bat, and that's the DVDs.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Actually, that'd be very relevant that I don't understand. A lot of conventions these days, like a really big one I won't mention on the East Coast, is claiming that their lawyers will not let them take bootlegs off the table unless a fan complains. What is up with that?
Here's the letter of the law on that.
Okay.
Because I would love to see illegal action come down that way.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Back in the 80s, when home videotaping was kind of a big deal, the major Hollywood studios didn't have any recourse against the distribution of pirated videotapes. You could buy them on the streets in New York City. You could buy them in any flea market in the country. And they were having an unsuccessful battle trying to get these people, because what would happen is as you sue one person, they're really a mom and pop operation, and they just shut down, change names, and go to another flea market. So a group of people, very similar to what the manga publishers just did with One Manga, a group of Hollywood studios got together and got some legal backbone and started going after the flea markets themselves and set a precedent. And it's referred to as the flea market ruling. Anybody that knowingly operates a marketplace, which a vendor's room is absolutely a marketplace because we're required to have tax IDs and things like that, and conventions are supposed to be registered and all that. Anyone who knowingly has a marketplace that does not enforce copyright law and intellectual property law is themselves liable, as if they were a party to the actual crime themselves.
If they actively go out and look for it, but they miss one, they're going to get cracked down on? Is that
it's not that they're, and unfortunately, the anime industry unfortunately has been very shy of doing anything. And here's why. Anime fans are the most self-entitled group of people vocally. Now, people at conventions are usually not those people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kids that sit on the internet and download things for free, and the minute someone says, well, you can't have this BitTorrent of Black Butler, they're like, I hate the creator, and the creator should die in a fire. Like, David Williams went to this, not this panel, the fansubbing panel a few years ago, and he said, that's so amazing to listen to. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, you're really one of the only people that could do this panel because as a studio, we couldn't do this. If we did this panel, fans would absolutely crucify us. They would say that we're doing it for our own self-interest, that we're doing it for money reasons.
Okay,
and mine was not that. And mine, as I did this panel, it was never approached as, you're taking my job, because I make less than the lady that says hello to you at Walmart. Like, I don't make it, voice actors are not rich. I do it, I've always said that I do this panel because anime's been a part of my life since my teens, and I don't ever want to see this go away. I want to see us doing this in hotels when we're old, because we're going to get there. I'm working on it myself. But, so it's really hard because some of them don't want to come down on them. When we get to the issue of swords, I will tell you that Square Enix is probably going to be the first to make a really awesome move against someone, and they're right. And
They always do.
Yeah.
I've seen all the lawsuit paperwork of even just using one of their characters in a music video. They sued a Korean director for using T-pop in one of their and they're like, you didn't use it without permission, here's our paperwork. I applaud them for doing it, and I applaud the company for taking really a Japanese just business approach to it. Like, no, you don't have permission. No, I don't care. I don't care that you love this. No, you don't have my permission. Because no one has taken this issue seriously up until fairly recently. So yeah, there is actually a few lawsuits in the making that might be, and they'll probably be fairly read about or talked about when they happen. But they haven't happened yet. But I'm hoping. It's sad that we have to be in a situation of peril before anybody acts. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So now I have to segue back to DVDs. I like DVDs.